Welcome back to another episode of the Glory Boys podcast, where we're here to help you think bigger. I'm one of your hosts, Austin.
And I'm Darren. And if you're watching this on YouTube, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss anytime we drop an awesome, tasty pod. And if you're listening on audio on anywhere that you enjoy your podcast, please consider leaving us a rating. This helps spread the message and get and add value on a wider audience.
That's right. And we are posting twice a month right now, every first and third Monday of the month. And we're stoked to be bringing you more content, having more amazing guests, which is a perfect segue into our guests for the show. Today, we have some of our good friends, Dave Owens and Ryan Crookshank from the band Name Without Numbers, joining us today. Thank you guys so much for
Rock
making the time.
and roll legends.
Let's go.
Yeah.
I think we're overselling this.
Nah.
Thanks for having us. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks for being here. I was going to say, I think that for how talented you guys are, and I'll let you, explain to us what genre, because I still, struggle to actually articulate what genre of music you guys make. But I personally think you're a very under-renowned, if that's a word, band for the quality of the product that you put out. The music, the creativity, who you guys are. I feel like you're very underrated in that aspect. So I don't think we're overhyping it. I think we're hyping it. But I think that you guys put out amazing work, and I'm super stoked to hear more from you guys. So yeah, maybe you just, as we kind of start off, tell us who you are. Give us, maybe a brief synopsis of the history of the band. Explain to us what genre of music for all the other listeners, not me, because I know clearly, but for everybody else, explain to us a little bit about Names Without Numbers.
Ooh, okay. There's a lot of information there. You just asked for. So, we're Dave and Ryan from Names Without Numbers. We've been doing this for quite a while. We are, I don't know, genres. We're a little genreless. We kind of waffle between a few, but we've been called emo or pop punk. Is kind of the two that we get labeled a lot. They're just labels. I think, we're rock, we're indie rock. But yeah, we've stylistically, we sound a little like Jimmy Eat World, if you're into that, or the All American Rejects, something like that.
Yeah, that name's been popping up quite a bit lately, the All American Rejects. So
I love that band.
Yeah.
Yeah, very like pop sensibility. Power pop.
Power pop.
There we go.
Yeah.
Power pop.
I like that.
Ooh.
Emo pop punk.
Honestly, I like all those genres. So whatever all of those are, I like them.
And I'm learning to like, I do like them. I never listened to them much growing up, but now, being homies with Darren and getting exposed to a lot of it, I genuinely love listening to those genres of music now. So
It's never too late.
Yeah. Amen.
It's fun. Lots of energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how long, you said you've been doing this for a while. What does that look like exactly?
Can we say out loud?
Yeah, I don't know.
Do it.
So we've been playing for about 20 years.
Okay.
In
over
different
20 years.
Well, together. And then, I think a little before that too in other groups. But yeah, so we started as like in different bands where we were playing with different groups. And we all kind of broke up, and the Omaha music industry, I think, is still a little incestuous. Like, everyone knows each other, and when a band breaks up, you're like, oh, well, that's a pretty good drummer. Let's see what they're doing. So at the time, we had broken up and gotten together and formed like Dave likes to call it a supergroup of the bands in our circle.
That was my plan, was to create a supergroup. Ryan was in a band that we all really liked and played shows with, and they were just banding. And then I went to the guys that were in my band, and I said, hey, those guys are just banding. Let's snag a couple of them and create this monster supergroup.
Snatched them up.
Yeah.
And
that's how it happened.
So we did. There's been a couple of changes since then, but yeah. So here we are over 20 years later.
Yeah. And what are each of your roles in the band?
So I sing and play guitar, and he sings and plays guitar. We write the music together. So it's kind of been us for the last 20 years as constant members, but we've sort of had a rotating cast of bassists and drummers. But yeah, the music kind of comes from us.
Yeah, nice. And how many, I guess, albums, or I don't know if you got a number of like total songs you've written, recorded and produced, or maybe just albums?
That's a great question. I would say somewhere around 25 to 30 songs we've written together.
Okay.
I mean, which isn't like Taylor Swift just had one with 30 songs on it. So she's already got us beat with one album.
Sure.
In, 1 year.
I mean, we've probably written hundreds of songs, but only
none of them see the light of day.
Only some of them actually, make their way to the public.
Right.
Yeah. The stinky ones no one hears. It's just the good ones that we put out.
We try to stick with quality, not quantity.
Yeah.
It's smart.
Also, I'm sure Taylor Swift, I mean, I would imagine she didn't write all 25 songs on her
That's
album.
kind of her thing. It's
Yeah.
She's like a force of nature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like she can play concerts for 3.5 hours. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
So I don't put anything past her.
Yeah.
What's some of the influences of your guys' music and bands that you love and couldn't live without?
Oh, like I mentioned, Jimmy World is a pretty big influence of ours.
Yeah.
Get Up Kids is another one that, back in the day, they're still playing too, but they've been a huge influence.
And Berlin for me, for sure.
Yeah. Really? I never would have guessed. You don't have like a child named after that band or anything, do you?
I named my daughter Anne Berlin.
Wait, did she ever get to meet? Oh, she did get to meet him.
She did.
Yeah.
Which was awesome.
Yeah.
And she was like crazy excited, talking about like all these things that she's going to do when she gets to meet him.
Oh, man.
And then she totally froze up. As soon as they all kind of showed up and we're hanging out, she just got really like intimidated and scared. And that was it. Then it was over and Mom came and picked her up.
How old is she now? Like 12?
6.
6? Nice.
12?
No, I'm just joking, but your kids, I've seen them just like fly through the years over time. And I remember when Edie was just, yay high. But yeah, what about you, Ryan? You have kids as well?
Yeah, so actually I have my oldest daughter's named Cambria.
Okay.
Coheed and Cambria.
Sick.
Yeah, so
I didn't know that.
That's another band.
That's rad.
Reference,
and a great band.
Yeah.
Dang, I'm going to have to name my next kid Lainey or something.
Or yeah, there you go.
Slipknot.
That's awesome.
Metallica.
That's amazing.
Godsmack.
All right. We'll move into our icebreaker here. So you guys have played shows, all over the place with a bunch of really awesome people. We want to hear who is the coolest band you've ever played with, or what was the one that you were most Star Trek by or most, excited to play alongside?
Ooh. I mean, so we played with Dashboard Confessional. That was a little bit starstruck. Like, so, and one of the craziest stories that I have about that was that Chris Carrabba, he's a little dude.
Yeah, he's small.
I mean, he's like half my size.
Yeah.
And I was driving around I had a Geo Metro. Yeah. Convertible even, which was like this little tiny car that didn't have a back seat.
It's bougie.
And so Chris Carrabba comes into town and part of his rider, and we were putting on the show. Part of his rider was like, well, we need a courier or someone to transportation if our artist, a runner.
Yeah.
So we're like, yeah, I mean, I guess my car works. So he needed some glasses or something from the mall, and he wanted to ride. And one of the jerks in our band was like, hey, I want to come. Like, just hang out with Chris Carrabba. You're hanging out with Chris Carrabba. I want to come.
Right.
So I'm like, dude, I don't have a back seat.
I got 2 seats.
So we get to my car, and he's like, well, so Chris Carrabba climbs into the like rear sort of like area where that's not even a back seat, but there is enough area for like a little man to sit back there. So we're driving around with this like big rock star who's like cool about it. He's like super humble. He's like, yeah, whatever. And he's like, yeah, we're driving around Omaha with him like in the like crammed in this back seat because this jerk off wants to ride with us and like has FOMO because I'm leaving with this big rock star.
Man, didn't even let him take shotgun.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, what are you doing?
That's wild.
Like, you sit back here.
Yeah,
that wasn't me. Just to be clear.
No, it wasn't Dave.
I feel like that's not very.
It was not me.
Doesn't sound like Dave.
So yeah, that was.
So you went to the mall or no?
Yeah, we went to the mall. Hang out. We went.
You just
want
to go get some sunshades or what?
I was like prescription that he had called in ahead of time because he knew he was going to be in Omaha.
Got it.
Yeah. So they're
amazing. They're very influential in my life. cried to a lot of those songs and breakup songs. And oh man, his voice is incredible.
Get you right by the heartstrings.
Just playing in open D tuning and just scream his little heart out and just makes me cry. It's the best.
Help me as the noob. What song would I know by them?
I know
I've heard of them.
So Spider-Man 2, he was kind of put on the map out of like the shadows of the music scene when Vindicated came out in Spider-Man 2, right?
Selfish, I am wrong. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, those.
I am right. No, I'm right.
Probably heard it.
I knew it all along and I am fine. My voice is gone right now.
I'll have to go. I'll go check them out after the episode. I know I've probably.
No, we can just keep singing it. You'll get it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you say the same, Dave, or
That show?
you got a different one? Yeah.
I mean, that was definitely probably, if you want to talk about like bragging right shows, it's probably that, or we opened for Jimmy Eat World.
Sick.
That was awesome.
One time.
Is that Sokol?
Sokol
Underground.
Yeah.
Underground. Underground. Sick.
This is right before they blew up, like probably literally months,
Sure.
5-6 months before they blew up.
Still sick.
I don't know. Hot Rod Circuit
Oh yeah.
was definitely on one of the highlight for me, for sure.
Yeah, they're rad.
They're one of my faves.
Well, and in terms of like coolness, we toured a little bit with this band called Noise Ratchet out of California.
Sick,
they were
man.
the coolest band. They were constantly blowing stuff up, like throwing food at each other. Like it was a lot of fun just kind of being around them.
Like Tour Wars stuff.
Oh
like,
yeah.
Yeah, they're amazing. They're on Militia Group Records.
Yeah.
One of them was always like drunk at any given point. It was different. It was fun though. Like they were very cool to hang out with.
Yeah.
So that was fun.
And they're doing a reunion this year, which I'm super stoked about. Furnace Fest.
Yeah.
It's gonna be great.
You go to that every year, don't you?
Yeah, I will be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will be there.
Where's that at?
Birmingham, Alabama.
Okay. Nice.
The metal capital of the world. No.
It's becoming
the
that
heart
way.
of metal
It's
country.
kind of, but no.
Awesome. Well, yeah, I mean, we can jump into our talking points. Really, today, we want to talk about your guys' new single coming out, which is part of an EP, right?
It's gonna be hard. Yep. 5-song EP.
5-song EP. Okay. Awesome. And we've shared a little bit, or a lot of it, actually.
Yeah, we actually spent like a whole hour on an episode talking about the project because we were able to work with you guys and shoot the music video for it. So obviously we have connections with it, and now we're emotionally tied to it. So we want this thing to freaking win, and we really love it. And it was a super fun project. But yeah, we'd love to know about the song. Just share with our listeners just what inspired the song. What is it called? What's the album? Just kind of dive into just the realm of this new project.
So the new song is called Box Fort Kingdom. It was inspired a lot by the COVID pandemic and the lockdown and everything that happened, as a sort of like everybody was in their own little world for that year, where it was kind of akin to a child creating their own universe. So like I kind of felt like in my house, it was a universe, that we live in, as separated from the outside world, because we were in that space locked up for so long. So, and it could be metaphorically like, what are we protected from? This virus is everywhere, and are we just fooling ourselves that we're trying to like protect ourselves with these cardboard walls, right? Metaphorically, like a kid tries to protect themselves from the outside world with a bunch of cardboard.
Right.
So that's kind of what it is, just kind of creating this world of our own.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
And did you write this together?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Typically, our writing process is Dave will bring the ideas in terms of chord structure and kind of theory of how chords and notes work together.
Yeah.
And I just go with what sounds good and lay over top of that with vocals and guitar work, and usually then I put a lyric to it.
Yeah.
So it's more like I'll bring the stories to it then.
Okay.
So he's more the cake and I'm in the frosting.
Yeah. So the
awesome.
the musicality and structure of the song was written before lyrics were ever put to it, or what? I'm just interested to hear like what that process is, or is it always that way? Is it sometimes you have an idea for lyrics first and then you build a song around it? What does that look like typically?
I would say more often than not, kind of like what Ryan said, I'll have a pretty good idea of like the song and the structure and maybe some catchy hooks or some, la la la's, for like maybe like a vocal melody line. And then as a band, we put it all together and put our special, our own personalities onto it. And then Ryan really just comes up with lyrics that fit and make sense.
Yeah.
Around the melody lines that we've already created.
Got it.
Yeah, the song actually, and maybe that's backwards for what a lot of bands do in their writing process, but I am always last to put that on top.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, like Dave said, it's inspired by what the song kind of gives me. And I think the best songs are those that are sort of out there, and you're just tuning in to that and being open to what that is and what that message is. So I'm constantly listening for that in what the song is inspiring me to say.
Yeah. I think that makes sense.
Yeah,
I mean,
for
we
sure.
do that with films. Like, we'll pick a song first thing. Usually it's an instrumental. And then we kind of, we can feel the song, and listening to the song gives us visions and shot ideas and things like that.
Yeah,
and so I would imagine it's similar where you're listening and you're like, okay, this gives me this type of feeling. I'm going to, start writing lyrics along those lines, or, whatever that looks like. But
yeah. And cool. I mean, this is, a little bit spiritual or whatever, but it's like, I feel like songs are written. I'm just listening for that to come through and actually put it down.
Yeah. Right? That's great. Yeah, I love that too, because I don't think there's one right or wrong reason of how to write a song, or as a creative, you said that he's the cake and you're the icing. Like, I, even in my days of writing songs or whatever, I always loved co-writing better than just like starting by myself and figuring it out and then writing lyrics. And I always loved the collaboration piece of writing songs. So I love that you guys kind of figured out that unique thing that works for you guys. And now you guys write these amazing songs that are super catchy, super fun. You guys are amazing musicians too. So that's obviously, that adds to it. It's not just melodically beautiful, but it also has these, pretty little, guitar things that pop through, and just different, just different things. And I love it. So this song is incredible. We love it. It's super awesome. Obviously, when we heard it, we're like, we have to be the ones to shoot the video for it, because we just really connected. I really connected with it. I mean, one, it's a genre that I will listen to for the rest of my life. Two, it just felt really cool. I just had so many visions when I listened to something. Music is so inspirational for visuals for me. And so I heard it and I literally saw these like vivid images in my head, and I'm like, we have to make this happen. Yeah. And so not to go into that right away, but I don't even know where I was going actually.
Well, yeah, I think next we, it makes sense to go into the music video. We can talk about, release dates and all of that stuff. But I have a question before that. You mentioned, kind of getting together with the band and adding, your flavor to it. And I'm just curious, like, for you guys as the originators and constant band members over the years, like, what would you say is like your signature sound, or is there, an instrument that you guys always use, or an effect or something like that that's like signature to you guys that, really defines the Names Without Numbers sound?
Ooh. It's a great question. Our writing and our sound has slightly evolved, I think, over 20 years. A signature sound?
No, I mean,
is probably the way that we play guitar off each other.
Yeah.
We have really specific rules with how we play off each other. And I think that's kind of become kind of a signature of even just how people perceive and how people hear us. Yeah. And even vocally, sometimes we like harmonies, we like singing together. Yep.
Yeah, and I think that's correct. That is the correct answer. I think it's, the way we approach guitar, I think, is kind of sort of become the way we write songs, and what we're kind of known for as the guitars playing off of each other. Yeah, which doesn't always happen. Like, usually there's I'm trying to think. So like it's two sort of lead-ish guitars that kind of interweave together, instead of like just having specific roles that kind of stay in their lane, and one's kind of a boring, chunky guitar.
Yeah. I think too, for your guys' genre that you kind of live in, this like pop rock, pop punk, emo, power emo, whatever we were just talking about a little bit ago. I think there's a distinct thing with the lead vocal. Like that's what kind of sets you apart from just these pretty melodies and harmonies. But like Ryan, you have a really unique sounding voice, which I think really differentiates you from just kind of blending in with the rest of these other bands. And so I think with your unique voice, with your guys' ability to harmonize really well, Dave, you have a great voice too. So you guys together can make really pretty harmonies. And I think that really does set you apart, because some of these bands have these like just killer frontmen, and that's what you really focus on when you hear their music. You know, you say All American Rejects, very different sounding, very kind of whiny, but really, really good.
Yeah.
Then you got like the Amber Lynn's, very unique, very different sounding, very like warm tone, he's all over the place. But like these bands that you guys kind of are talking about, you know, Jimmy Eat World, very different, very set apart. Like, so it's cool that you have all these influences, which is great, but you're not just like cut and paste. Like you're not just sounding like everyone else, but you have these differentiators, the way you guys play. You're like always playing high on the neck. Like, like you're singing and you're always like doing something down here. And I'm like, I don't know what he's doing, but it's pretty and it sounds awesome. And I think it's really cool that you guys really figured out this dynamic between you two to create the sound that you can still be a part of this genre and in the midst of these bands, but still be different and stand out.
Oh yeah.
Which is really cool.
And you say cookie cutter and all that, and like I tried.
Yeah.
At the beginning, like I want to sound more like these other people that are my influences or whatever, but I just couldn't. Like and I still like sometimes I'm like, I just sound so weird because I don't sound like anybody else. And I mean, I guess that's great, and I love to hear that because it gives me that confidence, because everybody's got imposter syndrome, right?
Yeah,
like it's like I'm always like, oh, why am I doing this?
You got us in the office, all of us trying to sing like you, like like tape the door closed, like we're like trying to sing. We don't know how to, but it's awesome. You guys are killing it, and I love that. It's obviously taken 20 years to get here, but I feel like you guys are really starting to put out this really mature, really beautiful sounding music that feels like fully you guys.
Yeah, I was just saying, like the whole cookie cutter copy paste thing. It's kind of funny that sometimes I'll write a song inspired by Boys Night Out.
Sure.
And a lot of our working titles are like Boys Night Out. That was the name of the song until we recorded it. But at the end of the day, what I always appreciate about this band is, sure, we may have written a song that was really inspired by Boys Night Out.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it ends up not sounding.
Yeah,
for sure.
Boys Night Out.
Well, because you brought something that sounded like them, and like I hadn't heard that song or didn't listen to them much, and so we take it in a different direction. Because I don't have that same. That's where collaboration is. Like we were talking about that earlier. Like everybody brings a different crayon color. To the page, right? And everyone comes from a different perspective, and it's great to like work. And instead of just having a blue page, like you've got all these different colors because everyone comes with their own voice.
Yeah, that's great.
It's good.
So when does the song come out? Is there an official release date?
So Box Fort Kingdom will officially drop July 5th.
Nice.
Yes.
So that'll be pretty soon when this episode gets posted. It'll be like a couple weeks away or a few weeks away.
All right.
So make sure you go pre-save. Will it be open for pre-save and all that good stuff?
Yep. So we'll have all the promo. I think we're going to start pretty heavy actually next week. I don't know if timestamps make sense on a podcast.
Sure.
But
it's all good. It
doesn't matter.
June 5th.
Yeah.
But anyways, so via Fairvox, which is a label that we've recently partnered with. And so we're going to be working with them with the single Box Fort Kingdom and also the forthcoming EP as well. But it'll be available everywhere July 5th.
Sick. So I actually want to dive into that a little bit of so you guys aren't like signed or on a label necessarily. What's the kind of journey of being in a band? So for our listeners that maybe aren't familiar with band structure, and people probably just see people like Taylor Swift or Justin Bieber, but as a local Omaha band that's toured, that's played a ton of shows, put out tons of albums, like how do you guys make money? How do you guys do this?
You said money.
I knew you'd get a kick out of that one.
Jokester, real funny guy.
But just like, what does it look like for distribution and partnerships and all of that stuff?
Yeah.
I'll let you address it.
Yeah, I'm kind of the business guy in the band, and I'm the gas and Ryan is the brakes.
Yeah.
That
doesn't sound like a good idea. That's where I come in.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
It's called wisdom.
Yep.
That's great.
That's Darren for me.
Let's all quit our jobs, get in a van, and just leave everything and go. And Ryan's like, no, we probably can't do that.
I don't know.
We have mortgages and kids and families.
Yeah.
Anyways,
That's good.
that's that's a big question.
Yeah.
We've been in a band for so long that advertising and media and the ways to get your music out there has really evolved.
Yeah.
You know, when we very first started, there was barely email.
Yeah.
So
Right.
We had mailing lists, though. That was
yeah,
Oh, wow. Yeah.
you know, there was barely like technology, and
Sure.
I would print from MapQuest directions out on paper in order to figure out how to get to where we're going.
Right.
And Ryan had a funny thing that he thought he was being funny with, and he would throw my directions out the window of the van. And
that's a real jerk.
yeah, real another funny guy over here. But yeah, getting your music out, I mean, really is, I think still even today is word of mouth is the most effective.
Sure.
It's just building a fan base of people who genuinely enjoy your music,
Yep.
and they tell other people about it.
Right.
Distro, you know, a while back was all about physical product, hard goods, CDs, and vinyl has made a comeback as well.
Yep.
But now it's all in the digital world. Like it or hate it, you know, the Spotify, Apple, iTunes, all of it
Yeah.
is what you really gotta focus on and put money into. Sometimes
Yep.
you gotta push.
In terms of record labels and like kind of what that does for
Labels,
you, like
yeah.
a lot of times like they own your stuff,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
I mean, everyone kind of, I think that's common knowledge anymore, but like you are essentially selling your rights to all of the stuff that you've written and
Right.
recorded to them, and then they own that, and a lot of times it's multiple albums. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I almost feel like we dodged a bullet not being signed to a big label back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
Then they would have owned a lot of the stuff. Like, and that stuff wasn't, you know, necessarily as good, which was probably why we didn't get signed. But the you know, the evolution of our stuff, I think now we're in a good spot, and I don't want somebody else owning it. Like
Yeah.
it's now like we're
Right.
partnering with labels, so we are, you know, signed to labels that help us distribute and market our stuff, and that's
Yeah.
great. Like we're kind of in a sweet spot where we own everything. No one has, you know, any control over it more than we do. And we get the assistance of everyone to kind of like help market it.
It's just more eyes, you know, a bigger splash zone.
Yep.
You know, they have different channels that we don't have. And like Ryan said, there's really, it's a win-win for everybody. You know, we love what they're doing.
Yeah.
Fairvox, you know, they like what we're doing, and you scratch our back, we'll scratch yours, you know, and it's a really great partnership.
How did you get into that partnership?
He has been a fan of the band for a little while.
Okay.
But it's also through some other areas of like indie vision music and also Small Step Records. Our previous EP was released through Small Step,
Okay.
and it's kind of a network or a family of artists and business owners, entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And Nate Parrish is on Fairvox. Nate Parrish has like a solo punk rock project, which is amazing, but he happens to also be the guitar player for Cutlass. And like Slow Coming Day, which was previously on Tooth and Nail, but they're on Fairvox as well.
Got it.
Orion Walsh. So they're working with some cool artists.
Yeah.
And he basically just approached me
Yeah.
and was asking if we wanted to work together. And I said, sure, like, let's talk about some details.
Yeah.
And it just made sense. And it's
I think it's most of our business. There's no money in this. So I don't know why we call it a business, but all of our relationships are based on like people approaching us because they like what we're doing, and like you guys, like it's great that you know we have friends who are successful and can help us out, and you know, because they're enjoying what we're doing, which is awesome.
Yeah.
You know,
it's awesome. Yeah. I was just thinking about it, but literally 20 years ago, 20 years ago, I saw you guys, or almost 20 years ago, I guess, I saw you guys live in Jefferson, South Dakota, where I used to go to every show. My friends and I would start booking shows there, but a friend of mine would book shows there. He was a little older, Dave Morrison.
Yeah.
David Morrison. He was the drummer for For Today and started the band. But anyway, we would go to these shows, but you guys would play there, not all the time, but you had played there a couple times.
Yeah.
And maybe in Sioux City a handful of times, but growing up. And so I have one of your guys' stickers on one of my old guitars, the green Names Without Numbers sticker on there. I was actually going to bring it to show you guys because that'd be hilarious. Like bring this like old dusty thing. But yeah, dude, it's just crazy how I've actually like kind of known of you guys for that long. And then I moved to Omaha. And I didn't know if we were going to dive into this, but me and Dave used to work together.
That's right.
Yeah, back in the good old days. Moving on.
No, we can't
we can. It's better if I keep my mouth shut.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or, I mean,
I let Darren live with me. It was awesome.
I did. I lived with Dave for like a couple months because
it was great.
Moving to Omaha was tough, dude. It was awesome, but it was tough at the same time. But through it, it was a lot of really cool stuff. But yeah, working together was super fun.
Yeah.
The brand was fun to work for.
Those were good times. I'm super glad you moved to town.
Yeah.
Because now look.
Yeah.
You got us in your studio.
Yeah.
What more could you ask for?
Exactly. No, I could die today. And I'm 20 years ago, I saw you guys play live for the first time. And here we are sitting on the couch having a chat.
Look at us now.
Look at us.
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought?
Not me.
We've come so far.
That Paul Rudd video. That's amazing. Oh, man.
So we got a music video coming out.
Yeah, we got a music video coming out.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, dude. Oh, man. We've already talked about it on a different pod. We did a project highlight and talked all about it. We did a big 22-minute behind-the-snes video. I don't know if you guys saw that. I think you did.
Yeah, I've watched it multiple times.
Well, thanks for sending me the link.
It's amazing. I did send it.
We'll link it in this in the description for this podcast as well, just in case any of you guys haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, it is actually on our group, in
our private group.
So which you should join.
You should join. Link in the description as well to join the private group, Thinking Bigger with the Glory Boys, where we post exclusive content like the Box Fort Kingdom BTS, which is currently not viewable on YouTube just outside of the special private link.
Except for the private link that Dave has, or the private link that's in the group. Join
the group. We would love to have you. But as we dive into the music video, obviously we extensively covered the actual production, so we don't need to necessarily dive in too much to that. But just wanted to ask, I guess, first and foremost, and we kind of already touched on it with the actual song, but you came to us with, both of you we sat down for lunch. We talked about it, and you guys really came to us with a super solid vision for what this music video needed to look like. And so I want to know, for the listeners, where did that come from? Did it just, kind of pop out of thin air as you were listening to the song? Did you have it in mind as you were writing the song? What does that look like?
It was after, I would say, like one of those, like, again, inspired by just what I was feeling or trying to grab onto, like what the universe is telling me. But yeah, it was sort of cool to think about, like, what can we do to make this box become like a world of its own? And I think the video does a heck of a job capturing that, right? Like, amazing. You've got this box that you see at the beginning and end, and that's portrayed as like this little thing, and then when you open it up, you've got this world of possibilities, which is really cool. That was all done in the garage over here. That, like, the little excuse me, hamster wheel, or not the hamster cage thing, the little tunnels everywhere was awesome. Just seeing that,
it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So were you, I guess, did you have in mind to do a music video as you're writing the song, or was it something where, like, after you had written the song, you're like, you know what, this one would be a really cool one to do a music video for?
Yeah, we definitely didn't have that intention in mind when we wrote the song. We just kind of felt that song kind of rose to the top a little bit. And then just topically, as Ryan was writing lyrics.
So it's a very visual, like it's
a very visual song that told a story, of being in a safe place. And whether you can relate yourself or anybody who has kids, we've all played in box forts.
Right.
We all take big boxes and we color on them and draw on them. My daughter does that all the time right now.
Yeah.
And so I think it's really a relatable idea and concept. And so we just said, let's use this as a single. Let's do a video. And
it definitely was after.
Yeah, it was after.
And is that kind of how you pick singles? It's just kind of like,
it feels right.
This song really stands out. Let's use this one ahead of the EP and run it as a single. Got it.
And it's a lot based on feedback because, the people helping us record and produce and all of that are like, this is getting me, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm hearing this in my head over and over at night. This is the one you should lead with.
Yeah, the recording process really shows a lot as well. Because even, doing demos in the basement and writing the song and you feel pretty good with it. But once you get into the studio and start working with a producer or an engineer, you can tell right away, like, oh, this song's really taken off, or it's really sounds special, or it has a certain energy about it.
Yeah. Things organically come together like that. Yeah. Right. Like you, I always say whether they land or not. Right. Yeah. It's like you get in there with a certain idea, like the demo sounds amazing for this song, but like it just doesn't, once it's polished in the studio, it doesn't really land right. But this one, certain ones land better than you think they're going to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really quickly, just to talk on that, just for our listeners that maybe aren't familiar with like the recording process, like how instrumental is that, pun intended, is the recording process, the producer, being a part of the process of the song. It's like you're not just sitting in your basement and recording on, Fruity Loops. Like you guys are actually like going to real studios and like using producers that are world renowned or like really, really talented people. So how the mixing and mastering process, like all of that is obviously really important to putting out a really great single or song.
Yeah. When we so I'll try to make this answer shorter, but working with producers and engineers is huge for us now. Yeah. So when we got back together 7 years ago now, we wanted to start writing and recording, and a good friend of ours has produced records, Michael King, really helped, I think, open our eyes to the outside influence and how that can really positively impact like your music.
For sure.
They can help you take it to the next level, help you see things that you just don't see yourself because, you're in it and sometimes you don't see what's going on.
Yeah.
So we really enjoyed that process. But on this current EP and this song, we worked with Joshua Barber, who's done big records for like Norma Jean and The Devil Wears Prada.
Yeah.
Hit the Lights.
He's worked with Tech Nine, I believe.
Tech Nine.
Yeah. Tech Nine.
Yeah. And even some really big bands that we can't talk about right now because it's all secret.
Sick.
Yeah. But so we go to a legit studio. Like,
It's awesome.
Legit studios, legit producers and engineers. We're kind of strategic. We have been with a lot of the music that we've been putting out lately.
Yeah.
With working with, I guess you could say, industry people.
Yeah.
Like Jeremy Schaefer from Earth Groans.
Yeah, I love that guy. Shouts out Jeremy Schaefer. You're the best and your mustache rocks.
He's pretty awesome.
And his vocal is gnarly, dude.
Yeah, it's so good.
It's so just good.
Yeah.
And deep and awesome.
Same with his mustache. It's
the mustache is fantastic.
I think it actually helps him go down a couple octaves in his growl. Like
I've heard that's a secret.
Yeah.
If you cut it, he wouldn't be as good. It's
it would go up a little. Like his pitch would change.
So you mentioned like the producer and the outside influence. I'm just curious, and if the answer is no, that's totally fine. But is there, I guess, can you give us an example of like something that the producer either added or gave ideas to? I was watching a video the other day on the writing process for Ain't No Sunshine, and how when he just goes on the long, and I know, that was just because he hadn't written the lyrics for that part yet. And it ended up, the producer was like, you just leave that in the recording. And it was the final in the song.
Right.
Yeah.
And so is there any examples of things that were like, maybe you had planned to go one way and the producer recommended, or gave an idea that really changed the song?
Absolutely. I mean, even the single that we're talking about, Box Fort Kingdom, had a slightly different feel, a different vibe to it. And we were fortunate to where Josh, our producer, is in Kansas City, which isn't very far from where we're at here in Omaha. Actually came up to my house, while we were doing pre-pro, and basically directed us, do this. That's what we liked. I was like, do this, do that. Like, that sucks. Don't ever do that. But how about this, or how about that? So it was amazing.
During the writing process, like a lot of times that'll happen where he'll be like, oh, this bridge is killer. Let's put this at the beginning. Right. And Mike did that too a lot. Where we're like, oh, we hadn't even thought of that. But then you put it down and it's like, holy cow. This is so catchy. Like it needs it up front as well.
Yeah, that's great.
And then it, carries over to the recording process too, where it's like, oh no, this guitar part that's in the chorus or whatever, we need to play that during the verse too, right? Like just put it on a clean sound and like do that there.
Yeah, that's great.
Right.
So yeah, it's definitely like his fingerprints are throughout these songs, because he'll just like hear stuff and be like, oh yeah, move that here or play it a little bit higher here. That doesn't work. That's pretty nice to have like another collaborator. Again, another color from the crayon.
It makes a lot of sense. I mean, it's akin to, I feel like, what we do as well, and really anything in creativity is like having a reference. You watch a video so many times over and over again, and pour over every single detail and cut and whatnot. And I would imagine it's similar in music, or listening or playing through the same song again and again, and to have somebody with fresh eyes or fresh ears to listen to it and say, no, if you just tweak this little thing, it's going to make it that much better. So
last question about the whole production side of things. What does it cost to put out a song now? I'm just curious, just for our listeners to understand, like, hey, this sounds expensive. Like, you got people from Kansas City driving up, you got people in Sioux Falls producing, you got guys, giving their input.
Yeah, instead of like line item everything, let's just say like a all in cost for
I want to produce a song like you guys put out Box for Kingdom. I want to do that.
So basically record, mix, potentially master.
Yep.
I would say on average, without giving out, because there are bro deals out there in this world.
Well, just a vague
$1,000.
$1,000 for a song.
Well, yeah,
roughly 1,200.
I would say with this last one, we went about 2,000 per song. So it's, it's not cheap.
Yeah,
sure.
The sky's the limit. So there's a lot of
you can buy the base model car, or you can get the power windows, the nice sunroof,
Yeah. And I think that's the great thing even about technology these days, is you don't have to go to a giant studio in LA or Nashville and spend $500,000. Like, you can get something super quality in a basement. Just as a band, we've chosen to work with industry professionals, sometimes a little bit higher industry studios per se. And just that in and of itself costs a little bit more. Just because you are dealing with professionals who do it for a living rather than somebody that's just doing it as a side hustle.
Right.
Totally.
So we do spend a little bit more because we're working with industry pros.
Yeah. And it shows. I mean, you can hear that in the music, that it's produced really, really well.
You get what you pay for.
That's right.
100%.
That's right. Awesome. Is there anything else? I really would just turn over the floor to you guys. Feel free to plug anything you want to plug. Is there anything else about the song, about the EP, release dates? After this, we'll get into I'll ask you where we can find you guys, where people can go follow you, and all of that. But is there anything else that you wish we'd asked about, or that you want to talk about in regards to this new project?
I wish you asked me more questions about my cats. I guess that's another podcast. We'll do
next time.
Yeah,
we don't believe in cats here. No.
Whoa.
I used to have 2 cats. I'm fine with cats. Darren doesn't like cats, but
no, dogs are fine too.
I get all itchy. I get all itchy and scratchy with cats.
That's like him too.
We had to get rid of them because my wife's very allergic after having kids. She wasn't allergic before, but after we had kids, she is super allergic. So
maybe she's just allergic to kids.
Oh, what? Hey, yeah.
What?
Yeah.
She's allergic to kids, maybe.
My wife?
Yeah.
Well, she's not allergic after we got rid of our cats, so But
no.
anyway,
So that
It's
she's
just a combination of the two.
I can
Right,
feel
right.
my eyes are swelling right now.
just talking.
It's all
about
in
cats.
his head. Like it's just a mental thing.
It's
for him.
placebo.
Yeah.
But no, I would
not.
say like just talking about like the schedule of the releases. Like we talked about July 5th, we're gonna release the first single, but I think in August area we're gonna have another one, and then the full album will be out at the end of the year, October-ish.
Late September.
That's just
September.
plugging that and making
September.
sure that people are watching for that.
So that's my
because it'll
job
be the
again,
rest
is to handle all the release dates.
Yeah.
Again, so it's July, August, September.
Okay.
And what does your label partnerships? What do they help with in terms of promotion? Marketing. What does that kind of look like? Is it just posting to their platform? Are they helping you with distribution? Are they going to host the music video on their channels of any sort, or is it just going to be on your channel?
So yes, no, all of the above.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean the music video itself will be hosted on our YouTube channel at Names Without Numbers. So we'll own all that, we'll host all that, and they'll just push it through all of their channels. We're also working with like a PR firm to basically just to get the word out.
Yeah.
Hopefully get on like other podcasts and blogs and reviews.
Yeah.
Spotify campaigns, Facebook campaigns.
Yeah.
And so we're all working together to really just push this record. And I think this is probably one of the most exciting, most proud we've been in a while.
Every record, you get proud of the one that you're in, and the next one's going to be the one we're the most proud of.
I know.
Sure.
I know it's cliche to say, but this guy doesn't get worked up about too much sometimes. But yeah, so I know Ryan's pretty excited about this new EP.
Yeah.
I'm excited about it. And we worked with a new producer, like I said, Josh Barber. And I think this really showcases who we are the best.
Yeah.
I think so far. But yeah, Fairvox, it's just a partnership to get it out in front of more eyes. Digital distro through a little bit bigger channels.
Yep.
That way more eyes will see it. Things like Billboard charts and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How can our listeners support you guys in this release? How can we be the best fans that we can be in terms of sharing, pre-saving? How does that have the greatest effect on you guys as a band? What types of engagement, interaction would you hope for?
Yeah, I mean, obviously follow us on social medias. Instagram, Facebook are the two main ones that we primarily use, and our handle is just at Names Without Numbers.
Yep.
And then your digital online listening platforms, follow us, tell your friends, share. That's the biggest thing. And if you want to support us financially, there's merch.
Yeah.
You can just go right to our website, nameswithoutnumbers.com. And we have merch on there. We're having a huge blowout sale right now to make room for more merch.
Big summer blowout.
Yep. And because with this record, we're going to have a whole line of more merch coming out.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so really, those are the main ways to really support us. It's just listen to us, tell your friends.
Yeah, listen.
And follow.
You guys
the
should do a
biggest thing.
T-shirt that looks like a cardboard box. No, just kidding.
Yeah,
Don't do that.
like an actual cardboard.
Yeah,
Made
like a
out of
Minecraft
cardboard.
dude. Like
It'd probably
just
be
boxy,
pretty inexpensive.
Somebody'd probably
to
wear
make
it.
that.
That's true.
Yeah.
Kanye would probably wear it.
Oh,
I
for
feel
sure. Well, yeah, listeners, make sure you go follow them on social media, pre-save the songs, share them with your friends, listen. If you enjoy them as much as we do, you will enjoy them a lot. So,
we are now moving into a part of the segment where, I'm feeling a little down and I just really need some encouragement from Dave and Ryan. And it would be good to do that whenever our producer.
Encouragement time. Encouragement time.
yeah.
It's time for encouragement time. This is a segment that we love. We encourage you listeners. Today, someone that's, or these guys are going to encourage us. And if you have anything to encourage our listeners with, maybe, whatever you think would be a good word of wisdom in the 20 years of grinding that you guys been doing.
Ooh.
I would say take the step. Do what you feel is your calling. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that I still get into a position of you know, keeping my cards too close to the vest and like not showing my true self. And, you know, I think it's, if you're scared, you know, just don't be like, just take that step. And, you never know what's going to happen. Like the worst thing that's going to happen is like, no one listens to you, right? Like it's not the end of the world, right? Like you're going to feel so much better about putting yourself out there and just being your true self.
Yeah.
Just, you know, being vulnerable.
It's awesome.
Yeah, definitely. Like follow your passions, whatever you're super passionate about, do it, follow it. You know, that'll make you happier in life.
Yeah.
You know, I'm super passionate about my faith and my family and rock and roll. And that's basically what I do.
Yeah.
Faith, family, rock and roll. And, but if I was going to give advice to say like a musician or somebody in a band, is one thing I think that's really helped us is when you're working or putting out music or putting out a record or deciding who to work with, if you're working with outside people, is work with somebody who understands what you want and your vision. You know, work with somebody who understands like the vibe or the style that you want the end result to sound like.
Yeah.
So I think that's been kind of pivotal for us, is finding those right people, whether it be producers or even mixing engineers.
Yeah.
You know, find somebody who is really good at what you want to sound like.
Yeah.
And don't settle.
Yeah. Listen to yourself. Listen to your heart and the voice that's telling you, because you've got good instincts.
Yeah.
It's okay to be weird and be who you are. Don't listen to the haters.
Yeah. Because haters gonna hate.
Heart.
No, that's amazing. Thank you guys for your encouragements. I feel better and encouraged because I was feeling a little down. And no, I really appreciate that. Yeah, so we know where to find you guys on social media, Instagram, Facebook, at Names Without Numbers. YouTube channel, probably the same, right?
Same.
So that music video will be on there
July 5th.
So you don't want to miss that. You just looked like you're ready to go.
No.
And wow. I'm falling apart, guys. Anyway, at Names Without Numbers on every platform. And yeah, thank you guys so much for listening. We're just super glad that you were here. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you can watch these amazing pods, and that we feel encouraged to do so. Hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss out, and then leave a rating on whatever platform you're listening, because it helps spread the news and help people think bigger, and we can add value to more people.
Yeah, and if you want to follow along in our video production company, so our podcast at The Glory Boys Pod or at The Glory Boys Podcast across all channels, but our video production company is called Glory Visuals. If you're not familiar, if you're new to the show here, you can find us pretty much anywhere at Glory Visuals. We post a ton of behind the scenes. You can get an in-depth look on really the process behind creating videos like this Box Fort Kingdom video. And again, hit the link in the description if you want to join our private community where you can actually watch this behind the scenes video. We break down how we set up these massive boxes to make a tunnel, the full breakdown of how we shot the video, and everything and more over on our private group, Thinking Bigger with the Glory Boys. But we're so thankful that you joined us today. Thank you, Dave and Ryan, for being here. We appreciate you guys.
Yep.
And we'll see all of you in the next episode.
Peace.